Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your support. Today we'll be making this lovely jacket. Please, if you're new to my channel, you're welcome to my channel. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you. This is for the back. To know how many inches you use for this pattern, quarter of your biggest measurement plus 1 inch, or if you want to add seam allowance plus the seam allowance you want to add. Her hip measurement is 40 divided by 4 is 10 plus 2 inches 12. I have enough. This is the starting line. I have this line here because I don't want to mark at the edge. All the measurement will start from this line. This is starting line, shoulder line. From shoulder line to 9 inches is half of her round armhole. Her round armhole is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Her waist measurement is 16. Her hip measurement is 24. "25 inches, the length of the jacket. "9 inches, 16 inches, 24 inches, 25 inches, the length of the jacket. I will connect the lines. This is shoulder line, chest line, waistline, hip line, length of the blouse. Now I'm going to mark her shoulder measurement. Her shoulder measurement is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. This is 8 inches. I'll come down by 1 inch for shoulder slant. I'll mark her neck width of 3 inches and neck depth of 1 inch. Neck width of 3 inches and neck depth of 1 inch. I'll connect it. I'll connect the shoulder slant to the neck width. This is the chest line. I'll mark half of the shoulder measurement, 8 inches. I'll connect it to this point. I'm going to mark the measurements. Her bust measurement is 38. 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. 9.5. Her waistline is 30. 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. 7.5. Her hip measurement is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches. 10 inches. I'll connect it. I'll get the midpoint to curve the armhole. I'm going to mark the dart. I'll use half of her bust pan measurement. Her bust pan measurement is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches. I'll mark 4 inches. 4 inches. So from the chest line, I'll come down by 1 inch. Hip line, I'll go up by 2 inches. I'll connect it. Waistline, I'll mark ½ inch on both sides. I'll connect it. I'm going to add 1 inch seam allowance only on this side. But if you don't want to add seam allowance on your pattern, remember to replace this dart 1 inch, half, 1 inch before you connect it. Then you add your seam allowance on your fabric. I'm going to add the seam allowance on the bust line, 1 inch seam allowance. On the waistline, 2 inches, 1 inch for that, 1 inch seam allowance. Hip line, 1 inch. I'll connect it. This is waistline. I'll come in by ½ inch. I'll connect it back to this line. This is waist dart. If you want, you can use princess dart or shoulder dart. To use princess dart, you get the midpoint and connect it. To use shoulder dart, you measure what you have here, midpoint, you connect it to this point. I'll use shoulder dart. You measure what you have. I have 5 inches here. Half of 5 inches is 2.5. This is midpoint, 2.5. This 2.5, I'll connect it to this point. I'm going to cut this. I will use it to trace the front pattern. I will cut it on this line, the straight line. Later, I will now trim off this and cut off the darts. So on this side, you will measure 4 inches and connect it. I will use this to trace the front pattern. Later, I will trim off this and cut the darts. This is for the front. This is shoulder line. On this side, I have extra 4 inches for lapel. You can use more than 4 inches or less than 4 inches. On this side, I have extra for collar. You can use 5 inches on this side, but I have 6 inches. This is the length of the jacket. 25 inches. This is back pattern. I'll put it on this straight line. I'll pin it and use it to trace the front pattern. Three inches neck width. I'll pin it and use it to trace this side. So I've used the back pattern to trace the front. I'll connect the hip line, waist line, chest line. This is chest line, waist line, hip line, full length. To mark the dart, I'll use half of her bust span measurement. Her bust span measurement is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches. I've marked 4 inches from this line to this is 4 inches. 4 inches. Hip line, I'll come up by 2 inches. I came up by 2 inches. From the shoulder line, I'll get her bust point. From her bust point, I'll go down by 1 inch. Her bust point is 10 inches. I went down by 1 inch, which is 11 inches. From shoulder line to this line is 11 inches. Her bust line, 10 inches. I went down by 1 inch. So I'll connect the dots. Waistline, I'll mark half inch. I'll connect it. I've connected the dots. If you like, you'll mark another line here, bust point, from shoulder to bust point. From shoulder to her bust point is 10 inches. I went down by 1 inch. From shoulder to this point is 11 inches. Her bust point, I went down by 1 inch. Now I'm going to mark the neckline. 3 inches by 3 inches. 3 inches by 3 inches. I'll connect it. I'll get the midpoint and come in by 0.75 and connect the front armhole. This is front armhole and this is the back armhole. So I'll trim this off later. I'm going to connect the dart. If you're using princess dart, you will get the midpoint, the armhole midpoint, and connect it. But I'm using shoulder dart. You will measure what you have here and divide it into 2. So what I have is 5 inches divided into 2 is 2.5. 2.5 is the midpoint. From the midpoint, I'll connect it to this point. So I'll connect this 4 inches. From this line, I'm going to mark 1 inch for button overlap. 1 inch. From this center front line, I marked 1 inch for button overlap. Now I'm going to decide where I want the breakpoint to be. The breakpoint is where the lapel will start. It can be on your waistline. It can be 2 inches above your waistline, 3 inches above your waistline, or your bust point. You will have another line here, bust point line, or your bust point. But I will mark 2 inches above her waistline because she will wear something inside. So I'll mark 1 inch from this center front. I'll mark 1 inch. I'll connect it. So this is 1 inch for button overlap. Her breakpoint starts from 2 inches above her waistline. From this point, I'll connect it to the neck width. I connected it from break point to neck weight. If you want, before you connect this line, you will mark 0.25 and connect it from this point to 0.25. Or after connecting it, you will mark 0.25 and blend it back to this line. 0.25 for color. I'll blend it back to this line. To extend this line for color, you will measure what you have on your back neckline. You will measure what you have. Whatever you have, you will add it to this line. So on this point, I'll mark 0.5. From this line, I'll mark 0.5. I'll blend it back to this line. You will decide how many inches you want for your collar, how big you want it. From this point, I'll mark 3.5 inches. Mark 3.5. I'll connect it 3.5. This is 3.5. So it's not straight, it's like angle 90. This is the way I marked it. Not straight, a little bit like angle. From this point, I marked 3.5. The line is not straight. This is straight line, but this is like angle 90. You can decide how you want your collar to be and where you want your collar to start. If you want it to start from center front line, or if you want it to stand some inches away from center front line, or you can mark like 1 inch, and it will, from this 1 inch you will mark like 2 inches depending on how you want it. So I want this to start from center front line. From this center front line, I'll mark 2 inches. This is 2 inches. I'm going to connect it. So this is the collar. So this is the collar. This collar is starting from the center front line. If you want it to come down a little bit, you will not put it on the center front line. Maybe you will mark like 1 inch or more and from there your collar will start. This is the side that you stitch to the back neckline. This side is how wide you want your collar to be. This side is how wide you want it, how you want it to be, how you want your lapel to be on this side. Your lapel can go down, your lapel can come up on this side, or your collar, where you want your collar to start. This particular one is starting from the center front line. If you want it to come down a little bit, you will measure from center front line. You will measure like maybe 1 inch, and you must, from that 1 inch, you will mark this line. The gap between this point to this line is 1.25. You can use half inch, you can use 1 inch. It depends on what you want. 1.25. This jacket is going to have one button. If you want, you can leave it straight like this. If you want, you can leave it this way straight. If you want, you can curve it. If you want, you can curve it from this point to this line. You can slant it. To this line. Or you can curve it to the end line, to this line. Or you can curve it. I want to leave it straight. This is the collar. This is the collar. You will cut it on fold. Unfold. This is for the front. This is the collar. You will cut it on fold. Front armhole. So you will use this to, this is side front, side front, center front. This is for the back. I trim this off, and the dart. This is side back. This is center back. This is center front pattern. After adding seam allowance on your fabric, you will notch the center front line. I'll put some links in the description and also on the comment section. I have video on how to make shawl jackets. I also have well-detailed video on how to sew shawl jackets. Please watch out for sewing part of this video. Give this video a thumb up. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.